Welcome, Egg Foo. What? First and only podcast about people eating stuff. I'm Mike Lisk.
Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to another episode of Egg Food. What? Hello, young Michael. How are we doing this week?
Are you being flattering with the young Michael? I'm older than you, and yet you're calling me young.
It is ironic.
As if I'm some sort of.
Do you feel like it's a bit of a jab?
No, I think you're trying to be flattering, but I don't think we need to be dishonest with the audience who might think that I'm younger than you.
I think nobody in the audience is under the impression that you're anywhere near younger than me. Let's be clear.
Yeah, no.
I would say
I'm
me
flattering
saying
myself.
young Michael isn't flattering as much as affectionate.
Uh-huh.
And I think young Michael has a nice rhythm. I think I like saying young Michael, if I'm being honest.
They're a lot worse. I mean,
there's something about saying young Michael that I just like saying. To be clear, yes, we do know that you are much, 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 much older than I. Okay. Much older. So yeah, I think I just like saying young Michael. There you go.
No, there's worse things to be called. I mean, when I'm out and about, every once in a while I get hit with a boss, chief. Chief is not as popular. Boss is all over the place now in New Jersey. Are you getting boss even in Virginia?
Oh, everywhere.
Yeah, everybody's calling you boss.
I had never run into that until I moved to New York, and the first job I worked at, it was mostly they were from, a lot of those guys were from Mexico or Central America. Mm-hmm. And that's the first time I'd heard people say boss. Hey, boss. What's up, boss? Yeah. What do you need, boss? What do you want, boss? Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's I don't know if white people do it. I feel like it's mostly,
I don't want to delve into that area, but
well, no, I think it's mostly, I don't want to say immigrants, because I don't know if these guys are immigrants, but that you use that term, boss. Hey, boss. Mm-hmm. I assume it's like affectionate or friendly. I don't know. Maybe
I don't know. I always take it as sarcasm. I always think it's a little sarcastic.
Well, you can if they know you. If you work with them and they're like, okay, boss. That's one thing. If you're like just in passing, hey, thanks, boss, or this way, boss. Yeah, I think it's just reflect. I think it's just like me saying buddy. I say buddy. I don't hear it. Doesn't mean anything. Whereas if you piss me off and I said, okay, buddy, that might be.
So it's all in the tone.
It's all in the tone. It's all in how familiar you are with that person. Anything outside of that, I think it's not sarcasm. I think it's just kind of like them saying buddy or something,
I think in New Jersey it's sarcasm.
Okay, buddy.
Every interaction is.
There's no sarcasm in Jersey. They just say fuck you.
Yeah, that's quite common.
But speaking of the way I say Michael, young Michael, that makes me think of The Office, because Michael Scott. Everybody called him Michael except for Daryl, who called him Mike. And one of the funniest bits, kind of under the radar, is when Jim was in Michael's office. They were doing something, and he had Jim pretend to be Daryl. Like, you be Daryl in this scene. We'll talk something out. And Jim said Mike. I got a kick out of that. Like Daryl's the only one who ever called him Mike. Mm-hmm. And I say this because it did pop up today. 1 year ago today. Hold on, I should have had this ready to go. I didn't know we'd be talking about the word Michael. It popped up in my I'm talking slowly as I scroll through the shit. Mm-hmm. Maybe you could pick up some of the slack here and earn your $0.
No, I'd rather see you twist in the wind.
Oh, okay.
As they say.
1 year ago today. I tweeted this 1 year ago today. So jealous, AP Mike, is getting to watch The Office for the first time.
Oh, that was a year ago.
Can't wait for him to get to season 4.
Okay.
So this, I guess, you had literally just started watching The Office for the first time 1 year ago today. Yeah. And I was bummed. I was like, ugh, so jealous of people who get to see it for the first time. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, I mean, your memory for online posts and blog posts, I mean, to me is mind bending. You know, it's like I'm putting stuff out there. I can't remember when I started watching The Office for the first time. I knew it was last year sometime, but
Mhm.
I started in February. Rather, I for some reason I thought I did that in the summer. Maybe that's when I wrapped up.
Why
But
why do I remember that you started on February 15th and you don't?
yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. You've
Well,
got
the
this
answer
kind of
is I don't. Every day this stuff pops up on. I have an app called HopStop or Time
oh
Hop,
okay. So
where
you're
it
getting
shows you, oh,
help,
this year, a year ago and today, you posted this. 10 years ago, you posted this. It goes all the way back. So that's how I remember.
really. Oh,
I
okay.
appreciate you trying to say something nice about my memory.
Really, I was about to offer to take you on the carnival circuit as
No,
Mister
I would
Mister
have been,
Memory,
yeah, I'd
Mister
have been in
Memory, Greg
Vegas.
Wilson. You
I would have
know.
been in Vegas a long time ago if I had a mind like that. I would not be sitting here talking to young Michael. No
Oh,
offense,
okay.
but
So, so now I'm not impressed at all.
no, you shouldn't be.
You should have. I give you credit for coming forward and not taking credit for this insane
Yeah,
memory I thought you had. But
yeah. I'm not. What's her name?
mm,
Who's Mary Lou Henner? You seen her act?
Mary Lou Henner.
She claims she has some weird memory. She goes around talk shows all the time. She has some memory. You give her a date,
Yeah.
March 3rd, 1981,
Oh,
and
okay. Yeah, yeah,
she's like, okay, this is what happened that day. Blah 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 blah.
yeah, yeah. That's an idiot savant thing.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
got to
she's hot,
touch.
so I wouldn't call her. I wouldn't call her an idiot. She's hot. Um,
Yeah. No,
but yeah,
I'm with you on that.
I wish I had a memory like that, although it would probably drive you crazy. I
Uh-huh.
also, on the same day, speaking of The Office, posted a question. The characters on The Office repeatedly say that Dunder Mifflin's secret weapon is their exceptional customer service. But is there ever any evidence of this over 9 seasons? Many times they reference their exceptional customer service,
Mhm.
but is it ever actually evidenced?
Who works in customer service?
Well, I think they've said it. Different characters say it. They say it like whoever's dealing with a customer, like
Mhm.
Jim, as he's selling paper. I think it's just overall.
What's Ryan's girlfriend's name again?
Kelly, she's customer
Kelly.
service.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought she was customer service.
she's the call person,
Uh-huh.
but many of the characters have referenced it, including Jim.
Okay.
And then, but then all of a sudden, I'm like, well, this has never been shown in any way. First of all, there's never any customers.
Right.
They never deal with. That's why I always crack up. Why are they all wearing full suits in the office that nobody ever comes to? But do you
I
have
did
anything
that
you want to?
when I first started working in New York. I wore a suit and we weren't dealing with customers. That was the thing. This was the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Um
I mean,
and
I can understand putting on a nice shirt, like you want a nice button shirt and not
late
sneak,
80s, early 90s.
but like a full-on suit. I mean, who do you think is going to be popping in?
Oh no, I wasn't wearing suits. I was wearing jacket and tie,
Yeah,
But
we'll call that a suit.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um but I was thumbing through speaking of devoting myself to a series, even
That's
though I
it for The
kind of
Office. That's all we're getting.
and now I'm thinking of
Did you make it all the way through? That's
yeah, I
all
did
I'm
make it
asking.
all the way through. I like The
Okay.
Office.
Okay. You
I'm
don't want
even
to talk
watching
about
reruns. I find myself
it?
watching reruns.
We don't want to talk about it. You don't want to talk about it. We don't have to talk about it. If I hit a nerve, I hit a nerve. I don't. You don't want to talk. Okay.
But I was thumbing through Hulu and I see that they have Cheers,
Oh.
and I thought it might be fun having been a bartender to sort of just
Oh.
go through that and rip it to
Oh.
pieces, you
Oh, but
know.
you're too good. You're too good for Cheers, Michaelis. Oh
No,
no,
but
no.
before even being a bartender, I that show just struck me as some sort of fantasy land of a bar. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it didn't seem like reality, so it just seemed silly to me.
Mm-hmm.
But you're a big fan.
Well, I have eyes and ears that are connected to my brain, and I live in an English-speaking country for the last couple of decades. So yes, I
Top
love
10,
Cheers. Huh?
top 10, top 5.
Top 10. Boy, that top 10 would be tough. It would be just on the outskirts, if not in the top 10.
Okay.
But it's right there.
Top 10 are all British shows.
Don't you dare, Mike. Don't you dare.
It's all British, right?
Don't you dare.
I'm getting to know you better, and
Well, if you notice, in the last couple weeks, I haven't even bothered asking if you've been watching Only Fools and Horses.
no, I really took the death of Grandpa really bad.
You took that Granddad's death bad?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that sailor guy, and I got to listen to sailor stories every time.
I mean, the people actually on the show didn't have a hard time turning it around without him, but you need some more time. Okay.
It's still popping up, you know, it's waiting for me. They're like, "Where'd you go?"
Give Uncle Albert a chance.
Give Uncle Albert a chance.
But I'm excited. It sounds like you may be watching Cheers.
Yeah, I think I may dive into that. I think I could have some fun. I could amuse myself.
Well, luckily, it's an amazing show with amazing writers and actors, so you don't have to amuse yourself. You can let them amuse you.
Yeah.
That's how TV goes.
I think I'll take the same strategy. I'll just rank the characters as I go along.
Now, if you're going to try to frame this as that's not what real bartending is like, then you're going to be nobody's claiming Cheers is a documentary on how to be a bartender. So,
but shouldn't we have some sort of connection to reality in our artwork? Sure. I mean,
sure, it's people coming in at a bar and sitting and drinking beer.
Yeah.
How is that not reality?
But what happens to those people after they have a few? It's not all. It doesn't. I mean, you've seen the whole thing, right? You've seen it from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Have they ever seen anybody? Has anybody ever gotten sloppy drunk on the show?
No.
No.
Of course not.
Oh my God. Has anybody ever been carried out of the bar?
I guess it's not a show about drinking. It's a show about people are at a bar, but it's not a show about drinking.
So moderate drinkers it's a bar where nobody ever gets drunk. And they're all moderate to almost teetotalers when it comes to drinking alcohol.
Well, hope James Burrows doesn't hear this. He'll renounce his whole career.
Is he the creator?
Yeah. He directed most of them. Creator / director. Yeah.
Now,
he did a million shows. So.
It's based on a real bar in Boston, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope the Charles brothers don't hear this and realize their entire lives' work should be summarily and immediately dismissed.
No, I'm sure that they have an appreciation that the show is a fantasy and that it has no bearing on what goes on day to day in that bar.
Well, is The Office a real indication of what a real office is like?
You know, at The Office.
How many times during your office days did you have a boss coming up to you constantly trying to be funny?
Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, that character. But I mean, some of the infighting and stuff that goes on and the quirks of character, that definitely rings home. And I think that's why it's
that's what Cheers is. It's about the characters.
Yeah, but it's you know,
it's not.
But it's about alcohol too.
Let's stand around and see what the effects of alcohol are. It's really not what it's about.
Yeah, no, I know, but it's, to me, I don't know why they left that out of the equation, because it's so common. I mean, any bar you go into, and you don't have to be a fall down drunk to go into a bar and see some crazy stuff go down. You know, as a result of the consumption of alcohol. I mean, I would think that they could work that in there and there could still be room for comedy. I mean, I've seen some crazy stuff in bars. I mean, I wasn't at this bar when it happened. It was another manager from a different bar telling me that one night he had a big guy fall down, right? He fell down and somehow he worked his head. And this was a big guy. Somehow he worked his head in between. You know how like a stool will have a sort of, you know, like a ring at the bottom around the legs of the chair. and somehow he got his head stuck in that ring, and then he couldn't get his head out. So then he stood up. He's got a chair attached to his head. He was a huge guy, and then he can't get his head out of the chair. Now, why couldn't have something like that worked its way into Cheers?
That's a good question. Let me tell you the answer. If we were watching a show set in a bar,
yeah,
and from out of nowhere, the scene happens where a guy gets his head stuck in a bar stool.
yeah.
Who would be the first person screaming about how stupid this is and how
Not me.
it doesn't
Not
make
me.
sense? Your beady little eyes would roll out of your head.
First-hand evidence. No, I know
Sure.
crazy stuff can happen in bars. You know, I was like,
I think you, if wacky stuff just started happening in the show, you'd be like, yeah, fuck this. This is stupid.
No, I would say that is so crazy. That must be based on reality, because I know stories like that can happen, and it's all as a result of people drinking too much.
Maybe a show for you is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where
Yeah,
they
you know
don't
what?
shy away
Yeah,
from excess.
I've heard enough about that show that, yeah.
What do you mean heard
If
enough?
I had,
What
if
do
I
you
had,
watch?
no, I
Good
haven't seen
Lord.
that show either. But from what I know of it, yes, that show sounds closer to reality than Cheers. Yeah. So I think I would be.
Except the bar has been operating for about 20 years without a single paying customer. But
that's the premise.
that's not the premise, but it's what happens. The people that are always getting drunk are the owners. There's like one customer in the bar per season, if that.
Okay.
Now, is a resident bar expert gonna have a problem?
Well, I do have a problem with that. Yes. Yeah. No, I have a problem.
That to me would be more eye rolling than the fact that Cheers, nothing wacky happens with drunks.
Yeah. You've seen the entire It's Always Sunny? You've seen that all the way through?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
What shows do you watch?
I don't watch a lot of shows, and usually it's like, it's like one show at a time. I've watched those Sunday night HBO shows, even Game of Thrones, which, I just got
into like an old classic sitcom you've watched.
Well, I watched all the classics when I was younger.
I don't mean like the Brady Bunch or stupid shit like that. Let's say after you were an adult.
The big ones for me were Mary Tyler Moore, Bob Newhart.
Yeah.
I mean, All in the Family, all the spin-offs from All in the Family.
Yeah.
I was watching all those series back then.
Can I give you two hot takes on those shows?
Okay.
I've been doing a rewatch of the Bob Newhart show. About, I don't know, 5 seasons in, and I love it.
Yeah.
And so last week I was like, I never watched the show of his from the 80s.
Yeah, I didn't watch that either.
And I was like, well, gee, I love the Bob Newhart show. Why don't I try Newhart? And I watched an episode or two, and it didn't grab me. I kind of went scrambling back to the first one, the older one.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why. It's kind of the same thing. It's Bob Newhart as the sensible, rational person in the room, and then wacky characters just kind of come in and out.
Yeah, Carlin.
But I was like,
is Carlin the best character?
Who?
Carlin.
Oh, you mean in the original?
Yeah, in the original. Yeah.
Is he the best? Number one, he's not in it as much as you might remember.
No, I know.
He's great when he's there.
Yeah.
But I love whenever Howard comes rolling, walking in.
Yeah, Howard's good.
Jerry's always great. They're all great. They're all funny. And I think the 80s Newhart is probably the same. But I was like, you know what? I'm sticking to the first one for now.
I don't know if I've ever watched an entire episode, but I felt like with the second one, you just waited for those Daryl guys to show up.
Right. Yeah.
Daryl, and Daryl.
Yeah,
right?
You know what? That's a great way to put it. I think, you just kind of wait for them to show up. More so than in the other one. And I'm going to say this about All in the Family, and I am not going to be Mr. Popular. after this. Now I did post about this like 10 years ago, but since nobody reads it or gives a shit, I'm guessing this will be
I'm sure
breaking
they're
news.
going. That people are wading through it now.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's a lot of material. It's a lot of material.
Yeah, it's
Is it
one thing.
longer than War and Peace now?
Probably.
How long? Yes.
One thing you can say about Xmas time is it's a lot. Maybe it's not good, but there's a lot of it.
Lots quantity over quality. No, I wouldn't say that.
Less quality, more quantity. Let's not get hung up on the quality.
Now, you're disciplined? I mean, you post every day.
Yeah.
And I think that's how you wore me out.
Yeah.
I mean, it became like it had to be looked at. I mean, I was in the.
I know that's tough. That's tough when you got to click on a tab, and a window opens up, and then you have to stare ahead at that window for 30 seconds, and that is every day. I don't know how you do it.
But then, I'd get behind, and then I got to wade through, so many. What I'm saying is it's easy to fall behind.
I can't wait for that folk song they're gonna write about you. The guy that tried to keep up with Xmas time.
Yeah, couldn't
gather
do it.
around grandchildren.
I
don't want to be that guy. How much he did what?
Well, speaking of comedy, I saw you had a big night out the other night.
But let me make my own family point.
Okay.
Because there's not much to say about the other night other than it was amazing. But
okay.
So you watch All in the Family, and we're supposed to believe, okay, Archie's the blowhard. He's this and he's that, but at the end of the day, he's just scared guy trying to keep his family together, and he's lost because the world's changing.
Right.
We're supposed to think Mike is this young liberal voice of reason.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great guy. He's the future. He's progress. Archie's the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
But then, I haven't even gotten to it yet. I've been doing a rewatch of that too. Quite a life I'm fucking putting together here. Maybe I should do the Mike Lisk thing where I just don't watch shows. But Mike leaves Gloria.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
So after years of her supporting him,
right,
while he mooches off Archie, and Dingbat, they have a baby, and then he runs off.
Oh, it was after the baby too? Wow.
Yes, after little Joey's born. Mike up and leaves.
Wow.
So at the end of the day, you're standing there like, well, wait a minute. Turns out Meathead's the asshole. Archie's got his problems, but he didn't leave. He's not leaving Dingbat.
He didn't leave,
the second Gloria was born. He would never do that.
Yeah.
So it's like, wow. After years of thinking, gee, Mike's the voice of me. We are all Mike. This and that. I am Meathead. No, I'm Meathead. I'm Meathead. It turns out Meathead's a shithead. So very disappointing. That's a T-shirt, right?
Okay, that is a T-shirt. Don't have you addressed this to Rob Reiner on Twitter? That would be fantastic.
Ooh,
you should do this, man.
Mike Lisk, are.
Yeah. I wonder if anybody's ever come at him with that. You just laid it out there. I'd just be curious to see if he would respond at all.
You know what? I did see him pop up in the news. Speaking of shows, apparently he's doing. I don't know why I'm telling you because you're an American rube. John Cleese just announced that after all this time, they're going to reboot Faulty Towers.
Yeah, I saw that.
And apparently, Rob Reiner is the beef behind it. So
really,
his name is popping up. But that is a good idea, young Michael. Little tweet to Rob Reiner and say, "Hey, Meathead," because I feel like nobody's ever addressed this. Wait a minute.
And here's a marketing thing: do this with a plug for this podcast where you laid it all out.
Do this as a plug for this as I laid it all out.
Yeah, as you lay it all out, because I have a feeling it's going to get some attention. It's going to get some attention.
How do I lay it all out?
Just sort of say, in your first tweet, as discussed in this week's episode of Egg Foo What, I have a hot take. on
Are
Meathead.
you? Wait a minute. Oh, you worried about getting left behind, young Michael?
No,
You think
no,
I'm going to tweet out to Rob Reiner? He's going to snatch me up, take me to Hollywood, and I'll
not at
forget about
all.
you. I just leave you in the
No,
dust.
I'm thinking of Egg Foo What, man.
Let me
I
tell you
have a
something. Let
feeling
me tell
that
you something. Let me tell you
you
something.
this might that's I'm saying if you get a little debate going with him on this, you might get you'll be trending. You'll get a few more followers, maybe five.
You think the second Rob Reiner reaches out to me, I'm not saying, hey, you want to deal with me? You got to deal with my buddy Mike.
Uh-huh.
You
Well, that would
don't
be
think
nice.
how this is going to happen? Of
But
course,
I'm not asking
of
for that.
course, I'm going to milk him for Egg Foo What?
But I'm saying you've just delivered a hot take, which I agree with you. I think you make a strong case, and I'd just be curious to hear what he thought about it at the time.
Well,
phrase it in like, what did you think at the time when these scripts were coming in and your
don't
character? Just make it clear.
don't
It's a
fucking handle
character.
me, Mike Lisk. Don't handle me.
No, but
I
I'm
got to do
saying,
this my way. I got to do this my way.
well, he seems like a touchy guy on Twitter. So I mean, I think you got to like present it like you're not judging him, you're judging the character.
Well, of
And
course.
what did he think
I love Rob Reiner. He's the stuff he's
Yeah.
given this world. He's Seinfeld, Castle Rock.
Oh yeah, well,
The Princess Bride.
uh-huh.
All those stupid Nora Ephron movies I'll never watch.
Okay.
Even though she is a Miss X this time with those chompers. R.I.P. Nora. I call her Nora. But what is interesting now, should I present this to him as if it's something I just thought of, or reference that I thought?
Yeah, just say you're rewatching. You're doing a rewatch. I mean, people do the rewatch all the time. Talk about it on Twitter.
It is interesting because, I mean, I don't remember a time in my life I didn't know about the show, and then I watched the show as a kid, and you get, you miss a ton of shit when you're a kid, and I've seen the show a couple of times, and never throughout. Not once in culture throughout these last years have I heard that. Has anybody else brought that up?
Right.
And I would ask you, if I've already established is way older than me, would have been much more conscious during the time it was on and after, like in the years after when people talk about shows. Have you? I've never heard anybody else mention this.
No, I haven't watched it since it aired. I'm not a rewatcher. I mean, it's weird that I'm kind of rewatching The Office.
Yeah.
But I'm not a rewatcher. I mean, I watched, Newhart, no shows, and yeah, I could see going back and having some.
I've been doing Newhart, On the Family, and Mary Tyler Moore over the last.
Mary Tyler. Yeah, those are
just
quality.
Trying to knock out like one a night, one every couple of nights.
Yeah, those shows I would sit down at the time they were originally airing because I wanted to see those shows every week. It was like. That's what you had to do to watch television, none of this streaming crap,
Yeah, but that was 40 years ago. You tell me you haven't seen an episode of All in the Family in 45 years?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
Wow.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I Love Lucy.
Let me tell you something.
I Love Lucy.
When I get Rob Reiner on the hook and he's about to deliver a sack full of cash, you keep that little factoid to yourself. All right. You keep that trap shut. If he asks how much we love the show, we love it. Yeah. And if he says, when was the last time you watched an episode? You fucking say last night.
I got it on DVD. I got the DVD box.
Don't be Mike Lisk about this when he shows up in a bucket of cash. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I'm giving this all to you.
Don't be Bayonne, Mike Lisk with your principles and this and that. No. Yes, sir. No, sir. Thank you, Rob Reiner.
Can we move on to Jerry Seinfeld?
Yes, me and our beloved friend of the show, Waddy, went to Seinfeld Friday night.
Where was it at?
It was at a place called the Anthem here in DC. Great place. I've never been there before.
Yeah.
And it was just, I mean, he's the best.
What
am I gonna say? He's electric. He walks out and you're like, I was probably it's off to the side, but I was probably 80 feet from him. Maybe 70.
Okay.
60. I'll say 60.
Good seats?
No, 70 feet. Yeah, pretty good seats. Not great seats. Good seats. And you're just like, I mean, he's just the best.
Mhm.
It's one of those things like after I saw Solo or Dave Perner rather, I'm just like, Jesus, I don't remember not knowing this guy. And here I am in the same room with him, and he's just giving a master class on comedy. Because I don't know if did you know Seinfeld before his show?
You know, I may have seen him.
Are you about to tell me that you never watched his show? Just like the
No,
other show?
that is a show I committed to. Yeah, I even have the DVDs.
Yeah.
But I may have seen him on the Tonight Show or something, you know, and then thought like, what? They made a show about that guy? Because you know that
Yeah.
in his early part of his career, you know, I don't think he's killing it like he is now. Not to take the wind out of what he does now, but I mean,
Right.
he's been doing it his whole life. Shouldn't he be good now?
Oh yeah, but he's the best. Like he's another level. It's like going to see Springsteen. It's like a whole nother
Uh-huh.
level of like, wow, this guy
Really?
he's at the top of the world. Like you can't get higher in your profession, whether it's to your personal taste or not. You cannot get higher than Jerry Seinfeld in his chosen profession.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask you to repeat some one-liners or anything, but I mean, he still keeps it kind of clean.
It's all clean.
It's all clean. Okay.
Yes.
So no
He'll say
F-bombs, no
no,
S-bombs.
no,
No, absolutely
no. He
not, huh?
might say, I've seen him in the past say "God damn it," but I don't know if he did that this time. No, of course he's clean. What do you mean? He's
Wow.
famously
No,
clean.
no, I know he's famous for that, but I mean, I give him credit for that. That alone is worth noting. Because you see comedians now, and I don't. God knows why audience still laugh when people start cursing up a storm. I don't get that. I mean, that's
Well,
to me.
funny. I don't see that as, and I think I've heard Chris Rock talk about that. Sometimes things are funnier with the cuss in there. Sometimes they're not, but sometimes they are. Sometimes it is funny when you say "fucking this, fucking that." It just
Well
is.
placed, yeah, well placed.
Well placed, yes.
Yeah.
No, of course, if you go up and just say "fuck, fuck, shit, shit, shitty, fuck, fuck," yeah, that's not fun.
Right.
But within a funny joke, if it gives that extra something, that is value.
Uh-huh. I think very few comedians.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm hearing your argument,
Like
and I'm
I
saying
don't like it when people say that about but comedians shouldn't be dirty. It's like sometimes it is funnier. I think people think, I'm not saying you, but I kind of am, but I'm trying to work my way around it. I think people think they're being smart when they say that. Just, like totally carte blanche, the comedians, oh, it's harder to be funny, but not dirty. It's like, I don't know, maybe, but maybe not. I don't know.
listen to the audiences. I'm not going to name names here, but
Why you not
I've
naming
seen
names?
comedians and they're getting laughs with the cuss words. It's not really, and they're not well placed. They're constant, throughout a performance. So to me, it seems easy. I'm not saying they're dumb for cursing up a storm. I'm saying it's easier that way.
I disagree.
Okay, all right.
I could say to you, Michael, here's all the curse words. Go up and be funny for 5 minutes. You're not gonna be able to do it. And but when I say I don't mean you.
Yeah. I'm not saying you can't have. You just don't curse. I mean, yeah, nobody's doing that. But I'm saying a lot of the times when they use the cursing, they would probably get as much of maybe, yeah, they might get less of a laugh if it didn't have the curse in it. But it has to be something kind of funny to begin with. I'm not saying they're landing everything on a shit or a fuck just to get a laugh.
Let's clean it up. Right, come on, please. Come on. Plus, it's also a rhythm thing, like that, because that's how people talk.
Yeah, no, I
So
understand.
sometimes it would feel unnatural. It'd feel like this person's going out of their way.
Well, did Jerry Seinfeld seem unnatural?
No,
You just said he's the best.
he is the best.
What is he doing that other people can't do?
If you're clean and you're Jerry Seinfeld, then yeah, you're incredible. But how many comedians have done that?
Why don't they? It's harder. I think it's harder.
Obviously, it's incredibly hard to
Yeah.
do it at all.
Mhm.
Brian Regan's the clean comedian. He's another. He's probably the. I mean, Jim Gaffigan's kind of clean.
Yeah.
Um,
Friend of
I
mine just
don't
went to
care if they're clean or
see
not
him.
clean, huh?
Friend of mine just went to see him down in your way
I love Jim.
In Virginia.
Um,
Maybe a little
yeah,
further
I don't
south.
get hung up on the clean, not clean thing. If you're
Mhm.
funny, you're funny. If you're not funny, I'm probably not going to blame it on you using curse words. I'm just going to
Mhm.
blame it on you. It's not funny.
Mhm.
Um, what? Oh, but like Seinfeld, because like I remember when his show started, and I look back and I knew who Seinfeld was, which doesn't really make sense because it's not like I was up late watching the Tonight Show when it popped on. I have no idea how I knew who he was before then, but I seem to have. But but uh but yeah, he was fantastic. It was, he did an hour and 10 or whatever.
Mhm.
Answer some questions at the end.
Oh, really? Okay.
Which if the questions thing was 10 or 15 minutes, a good chunk of it was him talking about he's got some movie coming out later in the year,
Uh-huh.
which he's excited about. Can't really. I think it's him and Owen Wilson. Couldn't determine whether or not it's another one of his animated things, like that fucking bee thing he put out.
That was a clunker,
Something
man.
that's set. It's set in the early '60s. It's him and Owen Wilson, and I forget what he said, but something about the way he said it led me and Whitey to think, "Oh, is this going to be an animated movie?"
Oh,
He's got
wow.
coming out?
Another one of those.
Yeah, which
I think he is self-aware enough to realize he's not a good actor.
yeah,
I mean, he just walks into a scene and, I guess he just has to just not cracking up is acting to him.
yeah,
So if he can get through a scene without laughing in the middle of it,
yeah,
he'll keep. I mean, you look at that first season of Seinfeld and you wonder wow, how did they even get a second season?
yeah.
It's not
Oh,
very good, you know?
that, yeah, they almost didn't. They were saved by was it Brendan Tartikoff? Like the only reason they got a second season was he was like this one guy liked it. I think it was Tartikoff. I could be wrong. Because yeah, that first season is terrible.
I wonder. I mean, I've never listened to the commentaries on the DVDs. I wonder if they addressed that, uh, whether they realized it wasn't good, how they stepped it up. Did they get some new writers in there? How did they? Because it was sort of they did a big flip, right? I mean, they went from kind of bad
Well,
to pretty good.
I think a couple things. Number one to me is Jason Alexander will tell you he realized he was doing a Woody Allen impression, but he realized he should be doing a Larry David impression.
Hmm.
So that got him off the Woody Allen thing he was doing.
Yeah.
And Elaine wasn't even in the pilot, so they had to figure out, they were. I've seen them talk. They were like, we didn't know how to write for women, so we had to
Hmm.
figure that out, and
Yeah.
that took a little while. Yeah, it was just kind of terrible. Then they got their footing. So,
Yeah.
but anybody out there who has a chance, I think he's doing pretty extensive tour. He's going to New York this weekend. Go see Seinfeld. I mean, like I need to tell anybody that. He
I
was just
mean,
fantastic. I
but were the
mean,
tickets like this Ticketmaster dynamic pricing again? I mean,
oh no, I mean they weren't cheap. They were like $100, but they
all
weren't
right.
like
Well,
they can go on StubHub
because
and have to pay
Twitter was
45.
trending with I guess Amy Poehler and who's her partner,
Tina Fey.
Tina Fey. I guess they're doing some shows together, and I guess they're using that Ticketmaster dynamic pricing, and the tickets are wildly expensive. Um, I
I
don't know,
guess somebody's buying them. Like the Springsteen's getting a lot of shit. But
hmm.
I mean, there's not an empty seat at these shows, so who's buying these tickets?
Yeah, it's weird to me. I guess if you got money to throw away, you'll be in the audience. I mean,
I guess not.
I drew the line. I'm not paying over $300 for a ticket for anything.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
Anything over 100, I would notice. I'd be like,
yeah. I mean, I famously did a ridiculous with the Kevin Smith movie. That that one really stung. I mean, I
You
felt like
paid $300 to watch a Kevin
no, it
Smith
wasn't $300, but it was a lot. It was like close to $200. And it's like, what, I mean, I was in the fifth row, but yeah, no, in retrospect, it was dumb. It was one of the
Wait,
dumbest things. One of the
to
dumbest
watch
things I've done in my life. I've done quite a few of those things.
to watch a movie?
Well, it was a movie, and then the Q&A, and
Oh.
yeah,
Well, I don't know. I mean,
yeah,
200 is not nothing, but if you
hmm
loved it,
uh-huh.
uh, like I thought about John Cleese. Speaking of John Cleese, a couple of years ago, he came around. He was doing that. I think the Holy Grail.
Yeah, I went to one of those.
Did you
He
go to
did.
that?
Yeah, I went to one in Asbury Park.
Oh,
Him and his daughter.
she's doing the reboot with him.
Is
The
she?
Faulty Towers.
She's gonna be in it.
I don't know if she can be in it or
Oh,
just help
really?
him write it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know you went to see him. I didn't know you were a John Cleese fan.
Oh yeah, no, what Monty? All right, yeah, we haven't discussed Monty Python.
All right.
I mean
Look
Monty
at us
Python.
finding something we both liked.
Yeah, I mean, you had to discover that. When did you discover it? Because I was watching Monty Python when it was first coming out on PBS. So
Okay.
it was on late on Sunday nights,
Yeah.
and I would stay up, like I think it was on at like 10:30. It was late, and
Yeah.
my parents had no idea I was watching it. But me and my brother started, I don't even know how we discovered it, but somehow we did, and then we're watching it every week. And then there was bare breasts in it, which is
Yep.
very appealing to a seventh grader. I was in the seventh grade at the time.
Or
And then
40.
I would come in on Monday, and then I'd be like the funniest guy. I'd be the class clown, just
Oh yeah.
going over the bits from Monty Python
Yeah.
because nobody else is watching it.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm a huge Monty Python fan.
You ever hear the story of you know where the first PBS station to air it was?
Where?
The entire reason the US had access to Monty Python, the PBS station in Dallas, Texas.
Really? Wow, yeah. No,
Yeah,
I would never have guessed that in a million
no,
years. Yeah.
I wouldn't have either. Like if you walked up to Texas today and said, "Hey, thanks for that British TV show through PBS back in the day," their heads would explode.
Was it out of Austin?
They would have a fucking melt. The entire state would melt down if you pointed that out to them. Not only that, but what's that?
Was it out of Austin? Was it the same PBS that had Austin City Limits?
Oh, I don't know.
Because Austin's like a cool town.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I don't know if it was Austin. I think it was Dallas.
Really Dallas. Okay.
And it was the main guy that put it all together was Owen and Luke Wilson's father.
Really? Okay.
Who ran the PBS station in
Interesting.
Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah. So of all states, it was Texas that gave us Monty Python.
Greg coming through with the trivia.
That's right. Thank you. Well, how was John Cleese when you saw him? How much was that ticket?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't crazy. No, I didn't feel like it was exorbitant. But the thing is, you're sitting there for a movie who I don't think there's one person in that audience who hasn't seen the movie before.
Yeah.
So, it felt like, okay, it's nice to see, the movie with all the fanatics. Everybody's laughing and having a good time.
Do you feel like you could have done it all without watching and because I thought the same thing. I'm like, everybody, I don't remember why I couldn't go, but I remember thinking, can I just slip in after the movie to talk to him? Because obviously we've all seen the movie 1,000 times.
Yeah.
But I guess it's different if you're in a room full of people enjoying it.
Yeah,
too.
frankly, I would have cared less if they showed the movie and and we had more talking time.
Yeah.
Because I mean, he's got so much to talk about.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Faulty Towers, so but I'm sure the fanatics were there for that show as well. So between Monty Python and that, and did he have another big show too? I mean,
he had A Fish Called Wanda.
Well, yeah, of course, the movies. Yeah, you talk about the movies.
Yeah, he never really had another show after that.
But that's enough, I mean, when you got all the fanatics there, they're going to be asking questions, good and bad probably, but I'd rather hear him talk more than watch a movie I've already seen. Yeah,
I agree. I'm really shocked that they're doing this with Faulty Towers, because that's always been one of the sacred cows of the BBC, the 12 perfect episodes, the perfect 2 seasons of 6. They're set in stone, they're ensconced in gold, never to be tainted in any way. And then boom, reboot.
Oh, I didn't realize there's only 12 episodes. I'll go and watch it now. I thought it was,
Yeah.
I thought it was like your show. Many episodes.
Easy.
No,
Like if you hear Ricky Gervais talk, it'll say, "Why did you stop The Office?" And they'll say, "Oh, it's because we had 2 seasons of 6, just like Faulty Towers. They wanted it to, connect with Faulty Towers like that." But
really? Oh, okay.
so I'm excited. I don't know. We'll see if it actually happens, but I'm excited to see what they come up with. So you never know.
Yeah. What do we eat this week?
Cold sesame noodle.
Now, did you have trouble finding this?
No.
Okay.
Everywhere. Yeah. Did you?
It's only at one of my 3 places. And it was
Oh, really?
it's at my new place I'm trying out. And it was good. I enjoyed it.
Did they give you the option of it being warm?
No, they gave you the option of it being spicy.
Yeah, mine said, "Do you want it warm or cold?" And I was like,
Well, warm,
cold's in the
it's lo
title.
mein, right?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know, cold's in the title.
So was it cold?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Did you like it?
Which I think helps it because it didn't congeal as much. Not that I mind when these noodles congeal. I liked it. It was very sparse. It had a light peanutty taste.
Yeah.
Noodles were fine. It was very up my street because it was little plain Janie, just nice noodles.
Yeah.
Not too much of the peanut sauce or whatever it was. I'm looking at the photo you have, which I'm guessing is not yours.
No, but mine was very similar looking.
Yeah,
it had parsley. The sesame was sprinkled on top.
Sesame, that's what I was trying to say. Yeah,
some celery. Mine had the red pepper flakes in it. It had a nice little burn, not overbearing, but just I wanted it to be spicy. So yeah, I was very pleased with it. It was very good.
Yeah.
And I got some soup on the side because this is the only takeout place that has the real good fried crispy noodles, that you get with the soup.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, like the
I
real,
think I know what you're talking about.
the wide noodle, that have been fried, the real thing, not those skinny yellow things that have taken over
the plastic,
every joint.
shiny little plastic bits.
Yeah, well, I would like to wage a sort of campaign to bring back the real fried crispy noodle.
Are they the real ones? Because I feel like whenever I do get those, I feel like it's a treat.
It is a treat,
right? I feel like
That's
one out of every 10 times I get those noodles, and I'm like, I always notice it, and I'm always like, wow, thank you, these are great.
See, I don't even put them in the soup. I'll have them with a little duck sauce. You just dip them in a duck sauce.
Yep.
And it's phenomenal.
I just pop them.
It's night and day, but everybody, I guess it's a monopoly with those other things that are so tasteless. No,
I'm sure those things are like nothing to make. I'm guessing that.
No, I'm sure they just get in. They order it. It comes in. Nobody's making them.
Yeah.
Somebody's mass producing. Somebody's mass producing them.
Yeah, they're just getting 90 pounds of it for like $1.
And they're getting it. Yeah, there's a monopoly. Whoever makes it, it's got to be a monopoly.
Yeah.
Because the real fried crispy noodles have been wiped out. I guess if you go to the fancy Chinese restaurants that are there, they're not going to put those.
There's something about them that have a like greasy flakiness to them that are.
Oh different. Yeah, phenomenal.
Mike Lisk, you are.
Yeah,
you are so right.
And I'm looking at my menu for this place, and you can even get side orders of them.
Sounds like you like this place. Sounds like you want to give it a little shout out. You want to say?
I am. This is Howell Kitchen.
Howell Kitchen, ladies and gentlemen. Brought to you by Howell Kitchen. This is Egg Foo What? With Greg and Mike. Once again, brought to you by Howell Kitchen. Howell, can we serve you today?
Their egg foo young was on the money, so yeah, they're 2 for 2 now.
Wow.
And they've got the fried crispy noodles, which is a plus in my book. Although
Yes.
I'm seeing there's a bad in the side orders section of my menu, there's a horrible misprint. So they've got the fried crispy noodles. You can get small for 35 cents, large for 65 cents. Then you right below it, you can get a homemade duck. $1.35 for the small and $2.50 for the large.
Entire homemade duck?
Yeah, it's obviously homemade duck sauce, but somebody missed.
You go in there and just walk and say, "Look, I need to see this homemade duck.
Oh yeah,
You people need to show me this homemade duck."
Oh, I'm sure kids are pulling prank calls all the time with this menu, with the homemade duck. But yeah, no, 2 for 2 from Howell Kitchen. And the funny thing is, they're right next to. I'm into trying new things, Greg. And there's a new place right next, almost, almost right next to it.
Well, let me sit down with my pencil and paper and start taking notes.
Have you ever had a poke bowl?
No.
It's spelled P-O-K-E, poke.
An accent aigu?
But it's pronounced poke.
Yes.
It's Hawaiian.
I was going to say, I didn't want to point that out and embarrass you, so I'm glad you said it.
Imagine, if you will, sort of a what's
I'm imagining?
I'm
imagining my
instead
list.
of getting a burrito bowl, you're getting a seafood salad bowl, which is not up your alley at all.
Fuck that.
So it's got sushi and all this stuff, but they have something. They also have ramen. Now I'm unfamiliar with ramen. I mean, I know it's very popular.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you eat it all. I mean, I know it's very popular. You're a big fan?
I don't eat it enough, but boy, if you told me I could only eat ramen every day for the rest of my life, I'd be pretty fine with it.
And you get with chicken, beef, or anything?
Sure.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
either
perfect.
one.
It's incredible broth and noodles.
Right.
I mean,
okay.
And then if you want chicken or beef,
yeah.
I mean, it's tough to beat that.
So I'm going to try this. I didn't try it yet. I've got it for tomorrow. But yeah, so the broth came in like a separate container. Is that usual? When you get it, the broth is in another container?
Oh, I don't think so. Although, to be honest, if I've gotten ramen, I don't know, 20 times in the last 10 years, 30 times, it's usually at a restaurant. Like,
okay.
Usually I'm in Richmond. My buddy Ryan, our friend Will's brother, there's a place in Richmond we go to. It's fantastic. I rarely think to get it like delivered or anything, but it would surprise me if the broth came separately.
Yeah, well, that's the way it came. And actually, I think in this instance, it's okay, because when I heat it up, I'll just heat that up, and then I'll probably zap the rest of it in the microwave.
Is this first time you'll have had ramen?
Yeah, seriously, yeah.
Okay.
No, I know, I'm aware of it, and I'm aware people love it, and this, like I said, this new place just opened. I think it's the only place I can get in this town down here in Howell.
Howell Kitchen.
So I went in there after I got so I placed an order at the Chinese place and at this new place, poke burritos. And so I went in the Chinese place first, and then I went into the other place, and they're looking at my bag, so they knew, the places are almost like right next to each other, so it must be very competitive for them. So I think maybe the owner, she saw the bag that I put down, and she's like, she's thinking I'm getting one for me and one for somebody else. So she said, "Is that for you?" And I said, "No, these are both for me. I'm saving a trip. Rather than I can do two places in one trip by coming up here." But she was, I guess she's checking out the competition. Like what's going on.
No, it sounds like Mike is smitten with this place.
Well, no, I'm going to give it a shot. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on here. I'm not
I
a
can't imagine you not liking ramen.
no. That's why I
I'm
went
sorry.
with
What?
that.
So what? I'm sorry. What flavor did you get, or what did you get?
I just
Chicken
got
or?
chicken ramen.
Yeah,
Keep it
perfect,
simple, you know.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because a lot of the other stuff is sort of more for people who are into sushi, and I'm not a
yeah.
sushi guy, you know.
No, no.
It's not something, but
Like a
they
lot
have.
of like Wegmans and those places, a lot of them have a whole section now for poke bowls.
Yeah, I guess it's
Yeah,
a thing that's happening. I mean, do you have one of
yeah.
these places down by you? You got places?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay. So it's finally made it to Howell, and I'm going to check it out. You know, they
Oh,
have these other
oh.
bowls that look pretty good. Now, when they say a spicy tuna salad in a bowl, a spicy tuna bowl,
Ugh.
that does that mean? I thought you liked tuna fish.
I love tuna fish. I don't want number one. I don't want it spicy. I don't want anything that even connotes the idea of heat or warmth
Really? Wow.
around my tuna fish. I want it
Wow.
nice and cold.
No spicy foods, no seafoods.
Well,
You really
the thing with
shutting down the
spicy
good
tuna is
stuff.
it makes me think of heat, and that makes me think of tuna fish sitting out with mayonnaise, getting hot. And then I'm holding my,
Spicy and hot
and then
are
you're spending, and then you're spending your Friday night holding my hair back as I puke into the toilet. Come on,
uh,
it's hard to trust. But I'm excited about the ramen. I'm gonna want to hear about that.
yeah, I'll talk about. You know what else I had for the first time in my life? It just always sounded so boring.
Sex with a woman?
Yeah, well, that yeah, forget about that.
Oh,
That's a distant memory.
Mike,
But
Mike, come on, you set me up, bro. Come on, come on.
I feel bad when you're putting down years that are going by. You know, it's like that's not going to help your cause, Greg.
No, that's
No.
okay. That's okay.
don't don't let that stuff get out. That information, you know, keep it close. You know, you know, a little
I'm
mystery.
sure. I'm
Keep
sure
the
everybody knows.
keep the mystery. Keep the mystery
I'm
alive.
pretty. There's no mystery. There's no mystery.
But I had tomato soup for the first time. Are you a
First
tomato
time
soup
ever.
guy?
You know, I only tried it for the first time a couple years ago,
Mhm.
and I loved it because I remember thinking it tasted like. I mean, it tasted like lasagna. It tasted like spaghetti sauce.
Yeah, yeah.
And
What kind did you have? Did you?
just regular. I was at some restaurant in the
Oh, you're at a
airport,
restaurant. Okay.
and I
Yeah.
got
So.
like half grilled cheese
Hmm.
soup kind of
Hmm.
thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was fantastic, but I
Uh,
never thought I'm just it's hard for me to think of soup for real as a real meal.
uh,
And tomato soup, if it's put in front of me, I guess I'll eat it and it can be great, but I'll never think to order it.
hmm.
But you tried it for the first time.
Yeah, I tried Panera Bread. You know, they have their old soups that they put out. And my brother had left one over at the house when he came to see my father.
Mhm.
So I was like, yeah, let me try this out, you know. And it is thick. I mean, I think I've seen watery tomato soup, like say Campbell's or something like that. And that's
Yeah.
why I always turn my nose up at it, like, you know, well, yeah,
Yeah, me too. I think that's probably true. Yeah, you see like Campbell's, it's all runny, it's like water. Fuck
yeah,
that. I
red
think you're
water.
right. Yeah. That's probably grossed me out for years. Yeah.
So Panera Bread, you know, it's thick, like you said. It's kind of and it's got the strong sort of tomato flavor, like like it's tomato sauce, right? So yeah, it was good. I don't know that I'm gonna go back that way. You know,
Mhm.
if I'm gonna get a soup that's sort of plain like that, I like potato soup, which I didn't get. You know, I never tried that for a long time. And then when
Mhm.
I tried it, it was good. I was like, oh, okay. Well, you know, why have I been ignoring this my whole life? You know, um, when that's made really well, it's fantastic. So
All right, we're talking about soup. I mean, I feel like
okay,
we've hit a new low.
okay,
But we did have a build up. I mean, last night, yesterday was Valentine's Day.
yeah.
Uh, do you have anything to report on your end?
No, nothing to
Okay,
report on my end.
I'm going to do something here. I'm going to take the next 2 minutes,
Okay,
and you like to surprise me with new segments.
right.
So I'm gonna ask. We do a segment now. I posted it yesterday about Valentine's Days over the years.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see if it's funny when it's performed out loud.
Okay.
Okay, so here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna say the year starting in 1986.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say what I did for that Valentine's Day.
Okay.
With a lady. So
Okay.
start with 1986. You just say the year, and I'll say what happened. We'll just keep going until 2023.
Okay. 1986.
I didn't say action.
Okay.
Ready? Action.
1986.
Nothing.
1987.
Nothing.
1988.
Nothing.
1989.
I bought a rose for a girl I was into and dated for 2 years. She was my first love. Of course, by the time I got it to her, it had died and shriveled up.
1990.
I think I got a keychain shaped like a heart from her.
1991.
Nothing.
1992.
Nothing.
1993.
Nothing.
1994.
I had a girlfriend. I can't remember doing anything special. So yeah, that must have been amazing.
1995.
Broke up with her, and I quote here, inciting, this is kind of a 90s joke. Broke up with her, inciting what surely was a 4-sleeve Snackwell's emergency.
1996.
Nothing.
1997.
Nothing.
1998.
Nothing.
1999.
Nothing.
2000.
Nothing.
2001.
Nothing.
2002.
Nothing.
2003.
Nothing.
2004.
Nothing.
2005.
Nothing.
2006.
Nothing.
2007.
Nothing.
2008.
Nothing.
2009.
Nothing.
2010.
Nothing.
2011.
Nothing.
2012.
Nothing.
2013.
Nothing.
2014.
Nothing.
2015.
Nothing.
2016.
Nothing.
2017.
Nothing.
2018.
Nothing.
2019.
Nothing.
2020.
Nothing.
2021.
Nothing.
2022.
Nothing.
2023.
Nothing. And scene. All right.
Yeah, I think
That's pretty good.
we could have rehearsed a little more.
No,
Yeah,
no, it's better.
Did you see what I did there as it went along? It became
I noticed at
apparent.
the end, once you got to like 2017, you started trying to get sexy or something.
No, that wasn't sexiness. That was
2017.
that was sadness. That was sadness.
Oh, I guess I equate sadness with sexiness.
No, because we're looking at what is that, a 2023
From 96 through 2023, it's an unbroken string of nothing. From 86 to 95, there's only 6 nothings.
Mhm. Now it became apparent as it was going along, and I couldn't remember if I saw all your further posts. I saw the one and it had a fair amount of nothings, but I didn't see the last couple decades.
Yeah,
Which to me are just heartbreaking, and I could sense it was going there.
Yeah,
as it was going along, and so that's why I was trying to express some heartache. Yeah, that's what I was going for. I mean, I
Thanks.
apologize that
No, you did
for the
great. I like
humor.
yeah, you started losing it halfway
Yeah,
through. That was
yeah.
good. That was good.
Well, it reminded me of? It's like a Samuel Beckett play. You know, we could be the characters from Waiting for Godot, but this
My
would be
writing
called waiting
writing
waiting to
rarely
get laid.
waiting to get
Waiting to
lit.
get laid.
Still waiting.
That's
I
so
do like how
bad.
every year I will give myself credit. I do like to update it with the time.
Mhm.
Like yesterday is 2023, nothing
Uh-huh.
as of 11:10 a.m.
Uh-huh.
Then they updated, still nothing as of 7:54 p.m.
Uh-huh.
Little pat on my back for that one.
Yeah. Well,
But yeah, if people want to compare my writing to Beckett,
mhm.
sure. I mean, it's not for me to say.
Uh-huh. I I can't leave you with that. I got to give you something. And
Oh,
I don't know if you've heard this story before.
oh God.
It's got certain things that I think you'll find interesting. I think
Uh-huh.
I have told this story before on one of maybe the best show or half hour power.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, I alluded to
I'm not paying them a fee for this.
the personal ads.
Yeah.
I didn't even adapt to online dating. I think I looked at Match once. I think I may have subscribed for 1 month or something, but wasn't having much success there. And I figured, why am I paying for this?
Yeah.
But back in the personal ads, you just look in the back of the paper, and there they were. People looking for dates. And this was, I guess this is still in the 80s. Uh, I'm still in my 20s, and I started answering some of these personal ads, and I went on. They weren't all nightmares, and it's just like, well, that's what
This is the 80s.
this is the 80s. Yeah,
Right.
back in the 80s. I'm still in my 20s, so that's when I was, I guess,
Swinging,
really
man.
well. The hormones, right? The hormones are kicking in, and you're looking for a mate. Are you going to get married? Are you going to have kids? They're all open questions at that point, right? You don't know what the future holds.
That was the decades, the 80s for us.
So anyway, I'm answering some of these ads. I'm going on some dates, and they're not all successes. It's dating is blind dates. Back then, yeah, I didn't even know what the people looked like. You just had to rely on their descriptions. You would have to describe yourself. And nobody was like flat out lying. I met some nice people, and it just didn't materialize, right? The relationship. But one time, I answered this ad, and very nice looking woman. I was very pleased as far as her attractiveness. We had a nice dinner and conversation. That is all going great. She was she was divorced. I tried to, you know, at that time I was trying to, date people who didn't have kids or were divorced. Not judging them, but it's just an added factor, right? I mean, it's kind of like, isn't it difficult enough one on one, and add children to the mix, add an ex, it's like, really, who wants that?
What if after meeting you, they agreed to get rid of the children?
Well, that never happened. But so anyway, we have this nice date. It goes great. I'm walking her out to her car, have a nice little smooch in the parking lot, and then she drops a bomb on me.
She's a dude.
No, she tells me that the next day she's going into the hospital for a hysterectomy.
Oh,
I didn't see that coming. It's life is full of curveballs, and
yikes.
that was a real surprise.
Mm-hmm.
So our second date, because I don't want to be a cad right off the bat.
Give us
It's
some
something.
time.
It
Give
doesn't
us some time.
it doesn't sit right with me.
No, sir.
So
Let her get a little more attached and then be a kid. That sets right with
no, let the
Michael.
thing just fizzle out naturally. But I'm not going to after having such a nice evening,
Mhm.
just sort of receive that news and then just go, oh, screw this, you know? And I didn't really think that, but I recognized that this is off to a bizarre start. And literally, I did visit her in the hospital,
Mhm.
post hysterectomy, and even that was pleasant, even though awkward.
Mhm.
Um, then there was a third date,
Mm.
and this was just a movie.
Leia.
It was a Kurt 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 Russell. Is it
Mm.
Kirk or Kurt? Kurt
Kurt.
Russell. Kurt.
Yeah.
Kurt Russell movie, action thriller, executive privilege. Or, I don't know what the hell it was called. It was something about a plane hijacking. So we go see that movie, and then she drops another bomb on me.
She's a
Um,
dude.
no, she, her ex. You know, I knew, you know, the kids were with the ex when we went out. Well,
Mhm.
I think she just had one kid. She had one kid,
Mhm.
and but the ex lives down the block. You know,
Mhm.
the
Yikes.
proximity, right? Am I wrong? I
Those
mean,
those jealous Jersey exes, I gotta feel
yeah.
are pretty
So
pretty
another
dramatic.
that was strike 2 and 3, maybe. Um, but here's a little tidbit for you, Greg.
The kid
Uh,
grew up to be George Santos.
no, no,
Yeah.
I learned that her sister, and I can't remember the name,
Mhm.
but her sister had dated Joey Ramone.
What?
Yeah. So now if you had that tidbit of knowledge, although
What?
I think it was already over with Joey, but would you have pursued things maybe further to get closer to Joey Ramone? uh-huh.
Well, I mean, that's a couple degrees between us.
Uh-huh.
Like if the sister was married to him,
Mhm.
maybe, because then you're kind of guaranteed a couple of meals. You know, like Joey's going to be at Thanksgiving. It's going to be at Christmas.
Yeah.
You know, if there's another family wedding, he's got to be there.
Hmm.
You can hang out with him.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, loosely dating. Yeah, it'd be a little
Hmm.
tougher.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's worth living with a lunatic ex down the street with a
Yeah.
yeah.
No, that was the last date, and I guess I was ahead of the curve. I kind of just ghosted her,
Yeah.
you know, and I was ghosting people back then, and I didn't even realize
No, that yeah, that
there
never
wasn't a
happened.
term for it.
That never happened before the 80s. Yeah, never. Throughout human
Uh-huh.
history.
Well, we didn't have that term. That term's relatively new, right? I mean,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
I think so. Yeah.
but yeah, they think they discovered something that, like, yeah, people just stopped calling, and that's the end of it, you know. But yeah, that's what happened.
Mm.
So that was a little romantic flop I had. You know, there are others. Maybe I'll save them for, future shows.
Yeah, let's not blow our wad with these. Let's
we
keep them.
can we can, we can
Yeah.
keep
Let's drip these out every couple of shows.
drip them out.
Yeah, keep the
Uh,
people crawling back for more.
yeah.
We want to give them all away, make
Did
them
you?
thirst for more.
Well, this is an appropriate fortune for me then.
Oh, of course, I didn't fucking get one. Of
You didn't get one?
course not. When did I
Well,
get one? I did. When
well,
was it last week?
this fortune will go with this show after what we've just related. Nothing is impossible to a willing heart. There you
That's the
go.
dumbest fucking thing. Nothing is. Get the hell out of here.
Come on. That's
By
you all over
definition,
it, Greg. That's got you all over it.
by definition, that's like, gee, I wish I could fly. Oh, but if I have a willing heart. That's the definition of failure, is you're willing to do it, but you can't. That makes things impossible. That's a definition of impossible. But you say that's all me.
Nothing is impossible. See, nothing is impossible to you, Greg. I'm your biggest fan, right? of all the people I know I could have selected to be on this show to talk about Chinese food, I picked you.
Thank you, Mike.
You turned down my Valentine. You thought somebody else was gonna pop up
Well, yeah,
miraculously,
a woman.
but you couldn't even agree to be my Twitter Valentine.
Refused.
Yeah, flat out. Nothing is impossible for a willing heart. You've always got a willing heart. I never until this show and that performance you just gave. I always saw you as the happy optimist.
Thank you, Mike.
Despite the rigors of life and things you've endured in your life, I'm like, how does this guy do it? He's been through the ringer, and he's still letting the quips fly, still jesting, still fighting, cranking out these books. He's still got the will to live. You got the will to live. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. I think I'm willing, but I'm very aware that most things aren't possible. But I'm always willing to try.
Yeah.
You never know, Mike Lisk.
You never know.
Although sometimes I feel like we know.
Oh, after the day I had today, boy. Oof.
Maybe for 2024 next Valentine's Day, we'll have something to put other than nothing. How about that?
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Okay. I'll cut you off. I'm sorry.
I just said, okay, I'm agreeing.
Now you're saying you had a terrible day?
Oh, the worst. I'm not going to go into the details. Just that I saw, the Mark Maron special on HBO, and he's talking about his father is in the early stages of dementia. I didn't know that, and he was just on the Best Show. I wish I could have had a little discussion with him about that, because I would have given him warnings about what's to come, because I'm sort of hit a new stage. Not that I didn't think it was coming, that the day wouldn't arrive, but let's just say my interaction with my father for personal hygiene things got more involved today, to the point where, I mean, like I said, I knew it was coming. This day was going to come. But when you're in the midst of it, you're like, wow, I didn't think it could be this bad. But I almost didn't do the show. I almost didn't want to get food.
Oh, dear God.
I was kind of like so sickened with some of the cleanup, let's say, that I'm like, it put me off eating for a little bit of the afternoon. But then I rallied. I'm like, Greg's going to be there. I can't let Greg down. I can't let Greg down. Oh. This is like his favorite night to do it. So I'm going to be a trooper and persevere. And we had a good show. I enjoyed this show.
That's my slow clap. It wasn't sarcastic. It was a little sarcastic. Can you do a slow clap without it being sarcastic?
I didn't even hear the clap. Was it one hand clapping?
What's the sound of one hand clapping, Mike Lisk?
I think your slow clap. I think it's the same sound.
I thought you were making fun of me. The song Jenny Fennell has that line. Nobody hears one hand clapping.
Well, it's a Zen cone.
Thought you were doing a little marketing, a little selling there.
You knew where you got it from. You didn't think you made it up, right?
No, the words sound of one hand clapping. No.
Yeah.
No. Well, I'm sorry. It sounds like I was going to say shitty day, but that's not. Yeah. That's not cool.
It's but accurate.
If I'm assuming
it was accurate. Right. It was accurate.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to say, if I'm assuming correctly.
And you would think, like I said, I knew this was going to happen.
Mhm.
It wasn't a surprise, but the way it happened
Mhm.
and the way it was all over the house, that it wasn't confined to the bathroom.
Mhm.
Let's put it that way. That
You
was
don't
a
have to be
surprise.
mysterious. I think you put it that way. I don't think you put it that way. I think you just said it.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
But
And then so I'm dealing, so picture me dealing with that crisis, right? That crisis is going on.
well, that it also stinks because
Stinks.
Mike, can we be classy for once? You have to go to the gutter
You
every
said it,
time.
not me.
Anything for a
It
cheap
did. It
laugh.
did stink. It did stink a lot.
Anything for a cheap laugh, Mike.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you could say, you could be cute and say, well, he did it for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But A, that would have been adorable because little
Yeah.
tiny baby Michael.
Mhm.
But the truth is, he's of that generation. He didn't change a
Oh
diaper.
no, not
Of course not.
no way. No
My
way.
father never touched a diaper. That
Yeah.
generation
Yeah.
of dads.
No.
So you can't even be cute and say, well, it's my turn,
Right. No.
if that's
Yeah.
cute.
Now, if I was dealing with my mother, yes, that would apply,
Right.
but not
Yeah.
not in this instance. Not
This
in this instance.
instance, it all goes one way.
So all right. So we've established an image of me dealing with that particular.
I can laugh about it now. So
Well, you have to laugh about it, or you'd be crying all day, right? If you can't laugh about it,
absolutely. Then
you'd be
laugh and
crying.
cry.
That's a Zen cone too, right? Anyway, so imagine I'm dealing with that crisis. Like I said, in multiple rooms, bedroom, living room, hallway, bathroom,
I get it. You're rich. You live in a
all over the
bunker house.
place. All
We get
over.
it.
You could have set a monkey free in his house.
The fucking Kennedy
A-
compound
And
over
he,
there.
I think a monkey would have been tidier in
Yikes.
distributing,
We-
the feces.
Ugh. Okay.
Right. So in the midst of that, I go downstairs. I've got like a slop sink down here, right? So I'm throwing, I get all the clothes off them. I throw all the soiled clothes into the slop sink, and in my let's say frantic condition, I left the water running,
Mhm.
and the slop sink, even though I didn't put a stopper in it, clogged with the clothing that was in there.
What kind of slop sink?
Like it's got a good, I would say a good 24 inches of height.
Well, I think you need to talk to your slop sink guy.
Uh-huh. But so on top of this, then I'm running back upstairs. Forgot I turned the water on. I left the water running. Guess what? Flood when I come back down. Flood in the bathroom, in the bedroom, in the living room, in the
Did you say
recreation.
blood or flood?
Flood, water,
Water?
water everywhere.
Not blood.
So it wasn't enough to have the crisis upstairs.
Uh-huh.
I had to have another crisis downstairs.
That
So
is not a euphemism, people.
let's call this episode
Upstairs,
Feces and the
downstairs.
Flood. Feces and the Flood.
DC's and the Flood. Brought to you by How Kitchen.
Yeah.
Feces and the Flood.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was my day.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn, Mike.
Yeah.
Is that going to be your day tomorrow?
I hope not, or I am going to become a human projectile.
I mean, what are you going to
off the roof of my house?
You going to stop feeding him? I mean,
no, nothing's going to change, Greg. Nothing's going to change. I am going to, I can't go on. I'll go on. That's it. Let's stick with the Samuel Beckett. You know that line? I can't go on. I'll go on.
I'll go on.
Right.
Like that.
So it expresses, that things are horrible.
Mm-hmm.
I can't go on. But I go on, despite knowing things are horrible.
That's right.
All you can do.
Could be worse.
Yeah.
Could be dead.
Yeah. I could be dead.
That's worse.
I could put this all behind me And
I can't do this show myself, Mike. Please don't. Please don't.
I don't know.
I'd have to do a whole fucking sad
you could have
show.
that could have been a one-man performance. You know, you didn't have to have me reading the years.
I'd have to do a fucking memorial show. Have to be sad.
The memorial show, yeah.
A couple of weeks later, I'll try to make a joke, and I'll be like, "Is that okay yet? Can I joke?
Is it too soon?"
Yeah. Mike would have wanted you to shut the fuck up. You don't tell me when.
Yeah.
So
now the thing is, yeah, so yeah, bring it back to the Mark Maron special. You know, he's talking about grief in the show, and you know, which is we all go through it, right? I mean, there's no avoiding it.
No avoiding
it. And the show is called what's it called? Bleak.
I mean, I've never been a fan of his stand-up. I can't believe he even squeezed a career out of it, to be honest. But boy, he did get hit with his girlfriend. Was it girlfriend or
yeah, his girlfriend at the time.
Yeah, that's brutal.
During
that's
COVID,
brutal.
yeah. No, I mean that's very touching.
It's not gonna stop me from shitting over it.
Yeah,
it's not gonna stop me from shitting on a stand-up. But yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. But I think if we set our sights on just doing, I think, well, maybe this episode is it. We just go completely bleak. You know,
I'd say this is it.
Yeah, this is our bleakest episode.
Yeah.
But also, I think it was a funny one, and I think maybe we'll just leave it at that.
If you didn't laugh, you'd cry.
If you didn't laugh, you'll cry. And the fact that it was cold sesame noodle, I think is fitting.
I think you need to parlay this Howell Kitchen into you need to run for mayor of Howell. Your platform needs to be, you're going to change the spelling to HOWL.
Oh, yeah. After the Allen Ginsberg poem.
Don't bring that hippie shit up here, Mike.
Not a fan.
No. Well,
I think that's the one poem of his I like.
I'm joking. It's the only one I've ever heard. Or
yeah.
That's fine. Bleak House, bro.
Bleak House.
Yeah, I didn't stop. I tried to read Bleak House.
Yeah,
like a year. I had to give up because
it's tough.
Yeah. He's still introducing like 4 new characters every page, and I'm like, dude, he did that in there's another book of his I had to give up because I'm like, every fucking page is introducing characters. I'm like, dude.
Yeah. No, I read that one.
Club only had 5. You can't make do with 5? You're Charles Dickens. Why can't you do what John Hughes can do? Trim it down.
I read
of characters I can fucking keep in my brain.
I read Bleak House in college, and it was difficult because it's all the names, but then on top of that, it's lawyers.
Yeah.
So the Jarndyce and Jarndyce, it just it became very difficult, like you said, to keep all the characters straight in your head.
I just can't keep all the characters.
But it was enjoyable. I stuck with it.
You're a better man than me. I mean,
that wasn't
you stick through things.
That wasn't the point. That wasn't the point.
House, you stuck through dating the woman with hysterectomy and the stabby ex down the street. You're a stick to it.
Yeah.
Stuff to the Mike List tattoo does not easily wash off. It's good.
Yeah. I want to thank everybody for listening.
Let's fucking hang myself in the shower now.
I want to thank everybody for listening. Hit that subscribe button. You know, we got to get those subscribers up. You know, people make money making these YouTube videos.
You thought this week was bleak. Just keep these numbers down. You'll start hearing some bleak shit.
I mean, I see some, and I enjoy them. You ever watch any of these YouTubers with the vinyl craze? That it's like they just discovered records, right? But now they call them vinyl. I'm a vinyl collector.
Yeah.
And I watch some of these videos, and it's amusing, because they're paying $40 and up for an album. I'm like, I'll buy the occasional record, but very few and far between these days. I do find some of these. I thought of doing my own version. Call it Record Head,
Mhm.
and it would just be me with the record in front of my face
I like that.
and just going on
It's
about
like
the
the smiley face, the 70s iconic smiley.
Yeah. You like the idea?
I like it.
Maybe we can branch off, when people get tired of this.
Are we breaking up?
No, we're not breaking up. We're expanding. We're
Because
gonna
just today,
we'll have
just
egg foo.
today,
We'll have egg foo what and the record heads. We'll be
well,
the record heads.
just today I was reminded, speaking of my Tom Hop app, that was a couple years ago, I started my Only Fools and Horses podcast. I only made it through like the first 3 seasons.
Uh-huh.
Or I think I tweeted it actually. So if you wanna go solo, Mike Lisk, I'll go head to head, bro.
No, I want you to come along for the ride.
I'll do the record thing with
Record heads. But do you have
But then
access to?
if we do that, is that going to be a thing where it's like Mike's doing a solo record, but he's having the band play on like Tom Petty?
Yeah, exactly.
It would be weird, but fuck it. I've got no principles on it here.
Yeah,
I'll come do it.
something to think about.
But right now, my assignment is reach out to Rob Reiner,
Yes.
and it just occurred to me. I read Chuck Klosterman. You know him?
Yeah,
Klosterman.
Yeah, Klosterman.
I just read his 90s book,
Mhm.
and I've always loved him when he was on Bill Simmons' podcast. He's an interesting guy.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to put it out there to all our fans. If anybody has a connection with Chuck Klosterman,
Oh, that'd be cool.
let's get him on this podcast.
He's
guys.
got a speaking of the 90s, I did like he's got like a 90s playlist on Spotify.
Oh, okay.
I guess maybe in connection with that book. What's it called?
It's just called the 90s.
Okay, yeah. So he must have put together this playlist as part of to go with the book.
Yeah. Yeah, he's an interesting guy. I could listen to him talk. So yeah, if anybody out there or here has any connections to get Mr. Klosterman on here, I think that'd be great.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, between him and Carl Reiner. Carl Reiner.
Carl Reiner.
Rob Reiner, shit's gonna be heating up this spring, I'm telling you. Between Rob Reiner, How Kitchen sponsoring us, our solo podcasts, and the fuck did I just talk about?
Chuck Klosterman.
Chuck Klosterman. Klosterman or Klosterman?
I think it's Klosterman.
Klosterman, okay. Chuck Klosterman. We have a beefy couple of weeks coming up, so
yeah.
We'll see if these intrepid fans can stick it out with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And by that I mean Jerry. Let's be honest.
Let's face it, Jerry and a couple other guys who've made it this far. Most people don't make it to the end.
That's right.
Sure they pop off about, after the dish, we finally get to the dish.
I mean, I can't believe I
skip ahead. They skip ahead to the dish.
Hey, fuck them. If I have to get through all this, so do they.
Exactly.
Yeah, so subscribe, everybody. Thanks for listening, and we'll do this all again next week.
Bye-bye.